Now, I've been from the telecom industry, and it's full of TLAs, three-letter acronyms. And DSL, like everything else, sounds Greek to me. What are the higher order benefits in the telecom industry?
Well, there are a couple of different levels that we're operating on from a value proposition perspective. On the most fundamental level, what we're looking at is the rope is sort of slipping through the hands of the telecom industry, right? The ability of the telco to deliver effective DSL services to their entire service area is a challenge. I, for one, live in a highly populated area of Shaker Heights and can't get DSL services because the DSL service can't reach that far away from the switch. So when you look at the competitive landscape for what was traditionally the telephone company's sweet spot, which was wireline services, the ability to pick up the handset and make a phone call, they're losing their wireline customers at about 4% a year, and that's for a variety of reasons. One is because younger kids are using their cell phones, and they're not buying wireline services from anybody. But the other is that the telcos are now not just competing with other telcos, they're now competing with the cable companies who are delivering traditional entertainment services, but now they're adding on to that the data services for their internet access, and now with voice over IP, they're now competing with them for long distance and local phone services. So when you think about the limitations of DSL services and that competitive context and the pricing pressure that's going on and everything else.
In the interest of the non-telecom, what's a DSL service?
That's the broadband, that's your fast, always-on internet connection that
allows all my kids to surf Facebook.
Yeah, Facebook
really
and
response,
absolutely,
right? Okay.
You bet. Now, so that's the economic, sort of value proposition to the telcos. We can help deliver services, DSL services, deeper into the network so that we can effectively triple their service area, which, when you think about the way the network is laid out, almost allows every telco in the world to deliver this service to their entire network. That's the good news from the telco's perspective. But when you think about it higher order, and you think about it in terms of the digital divide, and we think about it in terms of the democratization of information and what that means not only in terms of bridging the gap between those who have and have not, but also the competitiveness of nations. When you look at developing countries in South America, Central Europe, and other parts of the world, the ability for people, the citizens of those countries to have access to education and information that's available on the internet really levels the playing field. We've heard a lot about the flattening of the world, and this is an enabling technology that allows that to take place faster.
When I hear that and take it apart, one is coverage. So rather than covering a small number of customers, they get to sell more customers because they can communicate over copper wires from greater distances from their hubs in the network.
Yes, correct.
And they go higher speed, which means kids are happier, parents are happier, less waiting, and it's cheaper.
If you think about the 100-year-old infrastructure of copper that's out there today, just in the United States, you've read about Verizon that's spending $23 billion to deploy fiber to the customer. These telcos have this enormous asset out there in the form of the copper network. And if they can't leverage it into the future, if they can't continue to utilize it for generate incremental profits and revenues, then it's a dying asset. And this technology turns that copper back into gold and enables them to leverage this enormous asset that they have.
It sounds like if they don't, the reason for being, they just can't spend enough to rebuild the network they've built over centuries.
It's a pretty big deal.
Big leverage point.
Big, big, big.
Excellent.